Basically, not of Yala is cool, man, and I can really relax. What the madam?
Grand Villa, love the Naduna, Namunantana, Grand Villa.
That's fine. They actually not of the basically near the relax. We have a mission. Media, men are Grand Villa. It's the best guest house in the Gambia. The G&K Grand Villa Guest House. Na labung will be the seniori, adum na bung will be the nyarandirum kamu ibela fila ila suwe tarayande. Until Grand Villa na kilianu na lafingo wana mukawatin telkam. Na ya sabati Grand Villa yala kodo na fakalamata. Hanima mola nyantelsi jiyakunde. Grand Villa said us one day. Grand Villa. Oh man, this is like a paradise. I said I love this place. Trust me, I love this place. You come in somebody and watch me walk. What you do, I'm new to them. I tell you, I love this place. I love this place, man. Oh yeah. Ni liftan ko keso sotola futamma Oljuntum Paradise Estate by your commando loke 7527218 wala futanna website auto www.grandvillaguesthouse.com. Grand Villa Guest House. Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyan Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyan Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Bushibi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy deep tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and a breathtaking experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyan Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website at ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.
domoro kadiyata
boy janna sikes restaurant
sa nakko be ninna dimbal nimbe domoro kala janna
domoro seneyata adiyata topotoro fanan kende ma bije luntan during tamala abeka domoro ki janni adi manda wala de te ka be bijele anim fanan ka fadi jam ikono e fa e ka fo minne ko pastry anin bakery iko fanan be kalel badde lomba conference lomba workshop lomba ye fo pendil lo dunia kono domoro betama nyillom international o toda number 1
amanke ba do mala jandama
esa dogo jang is atariya
wo mu kubandi
sa na ko sa futandin
oto san na ko be mu CK's restaurant
ndafa na janna mu yak ni manje dorom bija
aban
CK's Restaurant, known for best quality food and customer satisfaction.
na broda min ba Europe ni sta konte nka bo wol kan sai na so ko na mano banta jabo banta tulo ban sai ka bol kan da ka ba office ko na ba dama bulo mutarin ba ka ta simplano ni kon batu ngane ta ya puri ma ko do banta na ta mano sani tulo ni jo munda be te la broda man balwo service kala mon service balwo service ni da furon ta mo kala munda a fe la broda ko abitala internet all aya ba site la woldo balwo.com na wo sajje a ko nga ba download la telephone lo na be sandiro to ni wal na be sirin ala office ko ndama manjar pura ta bank ko kodoki abe sirin office ko da minto ejo message so ya telephone ko no e biti ko be Gambia dawda biti ko babelo ko ta tano dawda yeta sempo tawo wodama yala bari wa service na ta mo da kan atanyo le kan ke na bro dan ta ko atanyo
balwo service al demano kaje ko ale dumur feŋol saŋ alla dimbaya moolu ye ana lakkanuntewolu waato bela ani waati sudum fanan kono balwo service la dinkiralu ani la doo kuñolu ibe banko karo beto kabirin katon fo koyna nan nafa ko ku koton soto balwo service la kuolto ali commandi téléphone lano la melbu ko 9400213 7694319 walla 3192870 walla hankabi alta internet oto alila kulu jibe www.baluwo.com.
Do you live abroad and want to build your dream home in the Gambia without risking your funds and family ties? Do you want a household name that is trustworthy and efficient? A name that will continue to give you updates on the project from the beginning to the very end with videos and pictures? If your answer is yes, then worry no more. Boss Construction and Asset Management is here for you. If you live outside the Gambia and want to build your dream home, then this is ideal for you. Just reach out to Boss Construction and let's start building the dream home into a reality. With Boss Construction, the difference is clear. We give you value for money. Some of our services includes the following: construction management, building equipment rentals, rent management, purchase and leasing, asset management, and many more. For more information, please contact 282-4945. Better still, send us an email, bossgambia@gmail.com, or you can also visit our website on www.bossgambia.com. Boss Construction, a name you can trust. Boss Construction and Asset Management, keeping families together.
We've been told that the members of the coalition, or at least some members, have said they have extended what they called the social legitimacy of President Barrow from 3 to 5 years. We will discuss that. Of course, we continue and revisit the standoff between the members of the National Assembly and the executive on why and whether President Barrow or the Vice President should appear. We will discuss why the lawmakers have decided to suspend the sittings twice until they get what they wanted. And with me in the studio to do that is Nyima Kamara, lecturer at the University of the Gambia, and the Honorable Sanna Jawara, member of the National Assembly for Upper Fuladu West. Welcome, Honorable.
Thank you very much for having me.
And yes, across the Mediterranean, yes, if you like, we have our own Mustafa Dabo, who is currently on a mission in Austria. He is in his hotel room in Vienna. I hope we will be able to link up with him, for us to do our usual stuff here on the brunch. So welcome once again. Nyima.
Thank you very much.
Honorable.
Thank you.
Now, only yesterday we learned from the national television and other media that the 2016 coalition, that is, have now extended what they call the social legitimacy of President Barrow from 3 to 5 years. This was announced by the former Vice President, a woman who was credited to be the mother chairperson of the coalition 2016, Aja Fatmata Jallo Tambajang. And this, of course, came in the wake of the fact that the 3 years Jotna, the group that said the coalition members should respect their MOU that they campaigned on at the end of this year, which is December, stepping up their campaign that they're not going to let go of the gas in their campaign to get the coalition members accountable for what they have campaigned for. Now, and of course we know that this movement, these coalition members who went to State House, they did not include DOI and the UDP. So, Nima, where you don't have DOI, UDP, but you have, say, GPDP of Henry Gomez, the GMC of Mai Fati, the NRP, of course, with Ahmad Bar, and of course, I think the independent group led by current Vice President, who, of course, are not here, but members of our group, I guess, were at State House. So what legitimacy do you think, without DOI and UDP, what legitimacy, or what effect, if there's any, do you think this declaration by Aja Fatmata Tambajang would have?
So I'm going to start with, even with the absence of UDP, even if UDP and DOI were part of this body called the coalition, do they still have the legitimacy to extend Barrow's mandate as it is now? That's a major question that needs to be asked. I'm going to depart from your point about what legitimacy do they have. When the coalition was formed, they campaigned on a platform. It was that platform that was sold to the voters. Right. When the voters voted into office any particular individual, in this case President Barrow, on that platform, and he comes into power, it's not the coalition anymore, it's a government. So the relationship between the people and the government, the coalition no longer has any part to play in that. So the coalition and its relationship, the coalition members, the collection of the parties that form the coalition, their relationship with Barrow is one thing, but Barrow and his government's relationship with the people is another thing. So I've always insisted on this when it comes to the discourse around social contract. We may have a constitution that lays down the term limit, which is 5 years, but it is the people who vote that gives mandate to their elected officials. So you come to the people and say, I am going to vote for me, and when I come into office, I'm going to serve you for 3 years. That is the mandate given to you. Yeah. This is not any different from the Brexit that is engulfing
the British people.
The British all right. So yes. My point is, the coalition body, which for me do not have any relevance, is a defunct body, cannot extend Barrow's term. They can. That is giving legitimacy to Barrow from their perspective.
That's why maybe they call it a social legitimacy.
I don't even know what that means. For me, legitimacy is just legitimacy, and it is the people that gives legitimacy to elected officials.
Well, you know, their argument is that, okay, the Constitution already said it should be 5 years, so they believe that is constitutional. Well, now because since they start changing their tone, they said that is what matters. Yeah, but that's any other thing, whether it's a social contract or whatever, in conflict with that, they now say that doesn't matter. But now, at least they are saying social legitimacy. Perhaps they still have at the back of their mind that, okay, the Constitution already is there is legitimacy already. So this one is a social contract we made between us and the people. So we are changing it. But again, this has happened whether or not they came with DOI or UDP. Again, this seems to have happened behind the people.
Exactly.
I mean,
so it's like a body that has not been elected in office, that has no relevance, no legitimacy whatsoever, making decisions on behalf of the voters.
Yes.
But will still have a responsibility to come back to the people to renew his mandate. Whether that's going to come through
in the House. Can we be able, Charles, to cross over to Vienna, where we will sound the opinion of Mustafa on this latest episode? members of the coalition 2016, at least some section of it said, they've given Barrow now a social legitimacy to go for 5 years. Mustafa, did you follow?
The question was not quite clear. Can you take that?
Did you follow the announcement yesterday that Coalition 26 have given Barrow now a social legitimacy from 3 to 5 years?
Absolutely. I was following it, and when I saw it, I made some calls and spoke to some colleagues back home, how they are, reporting it. But the fact of the issue is, I think we take it back to basic and ask, what is a coalition? A coalition is merely a power-sharing government. And from the beginning, did we have a power-sharing government, or did we have an executive president? Powers granted to him by the Constitution and using it to discharge its functions. So people who call themselves coalition stakeholders, I know they have no powers. Even when you could see, even when they went to Kairaba to hold a discussion, So there is basically no coalition. In fact, there is a coalition in name. You may have heard President Barrow when he was in Birikama at a rally. He made it absolutely clear that he is going to stay, whether anyone agrees or disagrees. So the President Barrow never needed anybody's opinion to stay or not to stay. He did not also need it.
Why would they then welcome this body at State House, and even commented on his Facebook after that he welcomed the solidarity given him when his mind was already made to go ahead anyway to 2021?
The reality is,
according to you, it was just a symbolic, useless exercise, was it?
Well, I wouldn't call it useless because if these politicians who are engaged in this activity consider it useful to themselves and their ambitions, that's fine. But the reality of the issue is that President Barrow is an executive president who does not need Fatimata Tambajang or NCP or UDP or PDOIS to fulfill his term under the Constitution. And that is what he has articulated from the beginning. So what the coalition, quote unquote, stakeholders claim to be doing is that these are people who merely support Barrow's completion of his term for reasons best known to them. Maybe he is doing quite well, or maybe they just think he should pay him power to complete his term. They are in disagreement with 3 years Jotna, and they are using this platform to articulate merely that. So what you see at State House was an articulation of a group of people's resistance against 3 years Jotna, not necessarily a continuation of coalition mandate. The coalition had long died. Coalition is not, it's a political agenda which is based on power sharing government. Current government we have does not have, by any standard of English language, a feature of any form of coalition. So there is no coalition.
What do you make of the significance or the lack of it, or the absence of DOE and UDP? Of course, DOE had always maintained that, they had finished with the agreement. What they know as an agreement has been violated, so they are not interested in any coalition. And then UDP was said to have said that before they can get into any mandate thing, they have to sign what was agreed, 3 years, etc. What was the significance or the lack of it, of their absence among these groups?
Well, with regards to DOE, you would understand they from the beginning had made its position known with regards to 3 years and with regards to the transition agenda. The UDP, on the other hand, is in a very complex, complicated position. On one hand, their leader had stated in public space that he is in for Barrow staying for 5 years. And on another hand, there are elements within the party who don't agree with that position. But they were silent after Dabo made that position publicly. So now that things have turned out the way they do, UDP doesn't seem to be openly against the position of the president to go for 5 years, but they don't also seem to be in support of it to go for 5 years. So, but they are in a complicated situation. I think that's what caused the silence. But of course, the party leader then later said, I mean, I think some months ago, about 2 months ago, to tell party that they will make their question known to the public. What that would be is open to anyone's guess. But the reality is that the key most fundamental players of the coalition are 3 parties. And they are the UDP, the NRP, and the PDYS. These are the 3 most influential parties in the coalition. They are the people who drove its agenda. They are the people who drafted its agenda. They are the people who supported its agenda. They are the people whose supporters in total voted caused its success. I mean, the other fringe parties are not so significant in Gambian politics. I mean, in terms of support base. So, I think we operate a very tumultuous period in our politics.
Okay, stay on the line there. We will come back to you. Let's turn to the professional, that is the politician in the House. He, of course, belongs to the United Democratic Party, the Honorable Sanna Jawara of Upper Fuladu West. Your party did not go to State House. Apparently, of course, we know since the beginning of these recent talks among the coalition, your position had been that before we move forward about this negotiation, we have to sign what was agreed, etc., etc. But let me ask you now, from a non-partisan point of view, do you agree with Mustafa that, in fact, that exercise at State House was just a response, more or less, to the 3 years jobless threats, rather than anything to do with the coalition?
Thank you very much. First of all, let me make a disclaimer that I'm not the professional, in this.
Well, you are a politician in the House.
I'm a politician who is learning on the job.
On the job, okay.
But I wouldn't claim not to be at the professional status.
Okay.
And I'll also make a disclaimer that anything I say here
is personal.
Is from my personal point of view.
We respect
my party.
Okay.
Mustafa made some very interesting points here, which I agree with some, but not all. First of all, the UDP is not in disarray. We are very much in tune with the realities on the ground. We understand.
You said your case towards the coalition, the 5 years is complicated because where you have
as
your
an
leader.
as an outsider, I don't know, that might be his view, and I'll give him respect for that.
Okay.
But as an insider, we are very much resolute on our standpoint. Mr. Dabo did made some comments in a gathering somewhere. I was not aware at the time when it was happening, but I heard after. But as an insider, I can tell you this much: this was actually faced with a resolved opposition to those comments.
Okay.
Maybe this is not even the platform for me to go into that too much.
I understand.
But I tell you, we have our own party. Activities where we meet as an executive also to discuss issues, and this was very much distant. We made ourselves very much distant to that comment, and expected him to go back and make a statement on it, which was in fact difficult, But one thing he made very clear at the time is that okay, maybe I did say something. It will be difficult for me to go back on it, but then as far as the party is concerned, I respect your view, and I expect you to make the right decision when the time comes as an executive. So we are not in any...
to make this clear before you move on, are you saying on records that lawyer's view at the time was not the party's view?
Actually, lawyer is the party leader, and people expect that whatever he says, he represents the party's view. And I had so many interactions where people blame the UDP for Dabo's comments, and like any organization, Dabo doesn't own the party, and like many people have spoken on behalf of the party in a very, if you like, uncomfortable manners. But we cannot actually take ownership of all these comments. I know it's a difficult one for anybody to understand. But Dabo's comment, on that particular important issue was not the claim of the UDP. Having said that, UDP has not decided still on whether this 3-year, 5-year thing where to stand. We were in part and parcel of the core executive of the coalition government. And but at some point, our executive members, were sacked from their jobs. So the context or the way the government is going as a transition, we have to gauge the situation at every point in time and see where do we stand in terms of supporting or opposing certain issues. But let me make this very clear, whether UDP is in disarray, whether UDP and the coalition partners are in disputes or whatever, that's different to what is on the table.
Okay. What's on the table now?
What is on the table here is that as a coalition, 8 organizations or parties came together to form a would-be government should they be elected. And that body went to the IEC and tabled before the IEC a manifesto to say, if we are elected, this is how we're going to govern. So that is, if board, that is a contract between yourself and the electorates. So if the electors buy into that and vote you in, you are bound by those votes.
Exactly.
It's like, for example, I'll give you, let me go a little bit out of this particular context and give an example. David Cameron, the Prime Minister of England, made it very clear that he's going to actually take the UK into a referendum.
Yes.
But should he not succeed in having the necessary votes, he will resign.
Yes.
And he stood by the vote.
Which he did.
Yes. But he was elected not to serve 5 years.
Yes. He was,
but in the same 5 years, we are seeing the third Prime Minister serving in the
same 5 years.
So people, politics of deceit, is a long gone conclusion. Politics of principles is what we are working on now. So people can resign. But if you fail to resign after actually giving your word, it tells a whole.
It tells a different story.
So the particular meeting you're talking about, which happened yesterday, it's news to me. I only heard from the public discourse and media that this is actually what happened. And then I called my party, an executive member of my party, to find out whether they were aware. To my not surprise, the party was not aware of this meeting. So even if they were aware, even if they attended and had the same agreement, to say we want Barrow to actually go on for another to complete the 5-year term. This is something that they agree within themselves and have to come back to the people and tell the people that in fact this is what we have.
It appears they didn't come to the people. They only. I wasn't aware of
the legitimacy they are claiming can only be given by the people. So this is
exactly.
private
You cannot claim anything that the people haven't given you. Let's be honest. The sovereignty of the country of the Gambia is in the people, not the political elected officials. We cannot determine what we were going to do. If the 3 years was unconstitutional, Yahya Jammeh or Mama Kandeh would have there and then, challenged it, and Barrow's nomination would have failed.
Yes.
So people who claim that the 3 years is not constitutional, I don't know where constitutional.
You think it's just they just want to hang on to an empty argument?
No, if Barrow came in and in their manifesto they said we want to, if elected, we are going to go for 5 years, 6 months.
Yes.
It would be challenged. Because the constitution only give up to 5 years.
Obviously, they will say that's a non-starter. You cannot say you will go beyond 5 years. But anything below 5 years is left to you.
And let me make this clear. Section 63 says that the presidential term shall be 5 years. But the constitution is not a standalone act or provision. It has tangles with other provisions in the same constitution. So section 65 gives provision of how this is possible. That the president can only serve for 3 years and step down.
Or even less than that.
And even less than that. And let me stop at that for now.
Okay. Let's continue. These people who went to State House, supposedly they said they have extended the social legitimacy of the president. We weren't aware of any public consultation, even among supporters of the parties in the coalition. We didn't know of the nationwide as they did when they were coming together. So we all agree that they were just doing their own thing with the back and behind the people.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm asking. How much relevance do they have in people's perception of the things? Does it change? Can people now say that okay, there's now legitimacy, the president can go on?
I think
Or it's just an exercise that doesn't have any bearing on what the people consider. Like he said, I mean the brightest example in Britain, David Cameron was elected to serve until another 5 years elections. But you have 3 prime ministers in the same term of the Conservatives.
Exactly.
David Cameron campaigned for Remain. The Remain lost and he resigned. May could not deliver Brexit. Johnson might not even survive, this no deal business. So he said that's a bright example of how politicians should be governed and should be guided by principles. Because that is trust. When people lose trust in you, you have no business to lead them. That is what is lacking here. This situation have always remained a moral question.
It's beyond trust. It's beyond morality. It's still within legal. On the mandate, how do leaders get their mandates? When the coalition's decisions now is premised on the understanding that this agenda was formed by us. When we first met as a coalition, we set the agenda to be 3 years. And now when we come back and we say we extend to 5 years, it will still be our agenda. But what they have failed to understand is that when they sold the agenda to the people and the people buy into it and they vote, the contract is not among themselves anymore. The contract is between the people and them and the government that is serving them. And so if 3 years is the mandate, as Brexit was the mandate for Theresa May, and she failed on it and had the moral and the legal obligation to resign, Barrow has both the moral and the legal obligation to resign after 3 years, because that was the contract. And social contract is as morally acceptable as it is legally acceptable.
Now let's look at his own role in this. Mustafa, if you are following us, let's start with what he said. At the beginning he said that the decision as to whether he will stop at 3 years or not depend on the people. At the beginning, that's what he said. Like you said, he'd always been saying that it's the people. Later he said he will not consult anybody over it. Later he said, in fact, whether one likes it or not, he would go for 2021. Was he helping the situation or not? Because he changed his position 3 times. What do you make of that? Mustafa, are you following us? Why was he then interested in receiving these people from coalition at the State House and accepted through a Facebook comment on his page that he accepted and understood the solidarity they had given to continue what he said was incomplete business in reforms and etc. etc. Is Mustafa still in his hotel room, Mustafa?
So from the beginning, I mean, you could tell even when the coalition was. Well, I am here. Can you get me?
I can get it. You don't have to listen to the echo of my voice. You just keep talking.
Okay, so from the beginning, what President Barrow did was to test the mandate and the agreement that the coalition extended to him. So the agreement of the coalition had determined what kind of a leader the power-sharing government was to create. And this leader was supposed to even appoint in consultation with coalition stakeholders. So from the beginning, the coalition there was never a coalition in reality. There was a coalition in principle. Now, but when things started falling apart, that is when the coalition stakeholders began panicking and realizing that actually the coalition is disintegrating. Now, so they had this last desperate effort to put everything together. That was when the discussions to reunite the coalition and bring back the so-called coalition secretariat at play. And while that was happening, President Adam Barrow also was on his own path, which was telling the people that I'm going to be here whether you like it or not. That's what you saw in Birikama. But even Birikama, let's go to where the coalition discussion was held at Kairaba. And when that discussion was being held, President Adam Barrow was opening his Barrow Fans Club movement headquarters in Serakunda. That tells you, I mean, and journalists put that to Fatmata Tambaya when she was at the Kairaba coalition talks. And the Kairaba coalition talks was not basically looking at the coalition agenda. They were not reviewing the coalition document. They were not saying, let's go back. Because if you are reviewing the coalition document and to say, let's go back, and certainly Barrow is saying, I am an executive president. That is against the spirit of the coalition document. So, but the coalition right now we have, that's talking about the coalition agenda, is only preoccupied with 5 years versus 3 years. That's a political movement. That's not an agenda. That's not a movement to reinvigorate coalition. You understand? Now, this is the first point. In the second one, is the current the danger in what Fatmata Tambajang and his colleagues are doing. And what is that? The current political climate in the Gambia is very polarized against 5 years versus 3 years. Now, what Gambia needs is a serious dialogue to solve this issue and bring two various parties together. Ahead of December, before we have a country that is going to be plunged into chaos, and you have civilian versus military or civilian versus police. Now, but instead of that, they went into a monologue in State House and convinced themselves, because they've not convinced anyone, convinced themselves that, oh, we have agreed now is 5 years. But that is not how these 5 years happened. These 5 years was voted by the people. Now, what they could have done is to convince their varying parties that the good thing for the Gambia is for us to go for 5 years and not for 3 years, and be involved in that communication of persuasion and reach out to their parties and reach out to the Gambian people and get them to understand that. So that's the danger of what these people are doing. They are going to put the country into a chaotic situation unprepared, because Gambia needs to have a discussion on 3 versus 5 before December comes. So that's basically the whole situation right now. And it's going to be chaotic.
God, thank you for now, Mustafa. Stay on the line though. So, according to Mustafa, what actually is required, Honorable, is that there should be a proper dialogue, not this isolated, move that these people did, as if they're trying to forestall, something that they fed. So, like he said, he still believe it was more of a reaction to the threat posed by the 3 years journey rather than anything. Do you think, in the absence of agreement, even between the coalition partners themselves, there can be any, and of course the reluctance of President Barrow to take the lead, because obviously, not long ago, his press director was quoted as saying that, well, the president is open to dialogue. All right? But now the 3 years journal people said, even if that is the case, they are not interested in engaging him. They would rather talk to the coalition which brought about Mr. Barrow. How can a dialogue, a national dialogue happen when President Barrow, on one hand, is reluctant to take the bull by the horn and lead the process, and on the other hand, the coalition members themselves did not agree as to what to even discuss?
Thank you. Basically, it became a situation of like what they call no honor among thieves. Everybody calling each other and not hoping each other the best. The coalition situation could be managed better than what it is right now, in my opinion. The reason being, when things started falling apart, the coalition partners should have come together like they did before on the very strenuous.
Where do you say when things started falling apart? What period were you talking? After his sacking, like my party, or
just after his election?
Oh, after the election.
Whatever change they might have seen, they could have come together as a team, and work out their differences and agree on one thing. But this didn't happen, and
who's to blame for that? I mean, other members of the coalition blame your party, the UDP, for promoting the single party interest agenda.
No, be it as it may.
They said that actually was what.
Be it as it may, you can blame anyone you like, but then whether you are realistic in blaming UDP for the failure of the coalition, will be another thing. It will be debatable. My take is this: after reading the coalition agreement before they came into the elections, there was nothing spelled out about how the National Assembly is going to be conducted. So therefore, if that's what you're referencing to, that's a whole different debate.
But wasn't there discussions as to what strategy? Some call it strategic alliance. Some said we should all remain independent, as we did in the presidential election, and felt and nominate National Assembly members who would be independent, coalition members.
Like everything else that they have agreed, 3 years, executive, whatever committee or whatever, these were all agreed, after so many differences, or variables. They agreed on to say, okay, give and take, these are the concessions, these are the pros.
Exactly.
So, like, in the same manner, the National Assembly issue could have been agreed upon in the same way, but it was not agreed upon, it was not even discussed. Because at that time, we all understand, the difficulties of bringing these 8 coalition members parties together. They had no time. This was, I think, this deal was struck on the 25th of October. And they have barely a month and a half before elections to campaign. So I think it's an oversight that that was not agreed. The National Assembly matters were not discussed. But even if it was discussed, who knows what they were going to agree on. They could have agreed on going for independent candidates, or they could have agreed on going for party tickets or tactical alliance. But from my party point of view, what we realized is that if we should go under independent candidacies, every individual and National Assembly member in the Parliament is an independent candidate of his own. So it means APRC or GDC will be the majority in the Parliament.
Okay, so there will be no group.
No,
because the coalition is not a political
the coalition is the government. But then the head of government business in the Parliament will be the opposition.
You think yes, of course it will be the opposition, but you think they would not stick together as to have come from one group?
That's not spelled out in the constitution, nor in the standing order. That after your election, you could come together and form an entity within the Parliament.
So what was the fear of the UDP? I mean, other people believe that would have been the best way to work out harmony among the coalition partners? Because after all, it was transitional, you know, they were not going to be there and change the bad laws. And
so this is what UDP suggested. UDP suggested that let's go for a tactical alliance.
Yes.
You know, we understand that in the Woolies, you know, Doi has the upper hand.
Dominant.
So let's leave Doi's candidate to run, and we all support the Doi candidate.
Yes.
And if that happens, no, UDP was going to have only about 24 or 26 candidates in the National Assembly.
Okay.
You know, and I think Doi will have 5 or 6.
Okay.
And all these other parties will be.
But it happened in some cases, isn't it?
It didn't. It didn't.
You know, UDP did not put up a candidate against Syria.
UDP, they honored CDS, valuable
against against Halifa
and not only that, but in the
NRP areas,
in the Nyamina, not only in Nyamina Dankuku, but also in the Nyanija, and
so that was not as a result of any tactical agreement. It was just out of their own.
No, it was agreed. It was agreed, between UDP, NRP, and GMC to go into a tactical alliance.
Okay.
But neither NRP and GMC, honored that agreement. But UDP, honored it. This is why, in fact, UDP, it has 31, but we could have had more.
Okay.
Especially in the Nyanis and in the upper salons.
Okay.
So this is what happened. It's a politics. I play it down to leave it
politics.
Down to politics. What I look for in politics is not deceit. It's not misinforming the population. It's honestly going out there to serve. And in the name of service, just do what is right and leave it be. But don't force it, push yourself onto people, or even go to the extent of violating the people's rights in trying to perpetuate yourself. That, I think, is wrong in politics.
Now, on hindsight, people like you in the UDP, you certainly must have been disappointed with President Barrow, because even though he was meant to be a coalition president who's supposed to serve the interests of the whole nation, particularly, of course, the members of the coalition, he now seems to be at loggerheads very much now with your party, the UDP. And your people will never forgive him for being the one who facilitated his presidency. And now you're not seeing eye to eye. Who's to blame?
Your question, about whether I'm disappointed with Barrow or not. Yes, I am very disappointed with Barrow for so many reasons. I cannot start calling them. This is a man from, let's say, before politics, because I didn't know Barrow was even UDP, but we lived together in Yaramamba for 7 years.
But he was treasurer. He couldn't have been treasurer if he were not a UDP.
To be honest with you,
he was deputy treasurer when Sanna was.
With you, I don't know Adama Barrow. Maybe because I was not even.
He's a quiet person.
This is the point I'm trying to drive at now, because I lived with Adama Barrow for 7 years in Yarambamba. I've never met him.
In Yarambamba?
Yes. He's that quiet.
He's quiet. Maybe he was quiet, but he was always a member of the party.
Yes, he was always a member of the party, and he's done his fair share for the party. Okay. But like I said, I didn't know he was that influential in the party, because at the time, the party was not very active as it is today. Okay. But as a person, he's somebody I adore. Is somebody I had interactions with his family, for First Lady and one of a nephew of his who would come to my house every time. And so on that platform, is somebody I trust. Is a good person. Is humble, and this was the prospects he saw coming into office. Okay. And on the political, when I recognize that he's a UDP and he's our flag bearer and now a president. I owe it to him to speak honestly to him. Okay. And when I had the audience, I did speak my mind.
To him. That's soon after the elections?
No, this was a year later, after he inaugurated the BYM.
Oh, okay.
And that,
so that's where the problem started.
And the UDP did not, or most of the UDP members did not honor that structure. Wow. He found a need to actually engage us and call us to the State House for talks. And in that talks, we were asked, we asked 31 National Assembly members of the UDP in the National Assembly. We were asked that only 10 people can speak. Yeah. So I didn't volunteer to speak. Okay. So after those 10 people spoke, he said, I think there's still time for more people to speak. But because the way the conversation was going, you know, I didn't like it. No, I thought, no, I need to say something.
I see.
So I volunteered to speak, you know, and I told him, you know, what I would have told Sadauda or anybody else. You know, that seat you are sitting on, my uncle used to be there for 30 years.
Yes.
And I would never tell him, you know, what is not right.
Yeah.
So in the same vein, I'm telling you today that as the president, we will support you in as long as you run a credible government.
But so your progressiveness was whether the UDP disagreed with him in setting up BIM, but BYM was etc. You wanted something credible from him, and you thought BYM was a non-starter.
The BYM thing I saw, you know, was political. You know, all I wanted Barrow to do was not to concentrate on the job at hand.
Yes.
You know, and the politics we can leave it till later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that not the problem? Because whereas you, the coalition people, wanted him just to sit down there and nurse or develop no political agenda, because you said that was his mandate, to serve and leave. Well, and his supporters said, as a Gambian, didn't he has a right to cultivate or develop a desire to be a politician? And what better point was when he's as an incumbent? That's to give him advantage.
Let's not forget the genesis of how Barrow came to become a president.
Yes.
You know, we have to look at everything, you know, from the root cause of everything.
Yes.
And I think Bak also said it very loud and clear.
Bak also the Imam.
The Islamic cleric, you know, he said, no, when Barrow offered himself, you know, to be the coalition flag bearer, he has agreed to be the whatever the button.
Yes.
Just to serve a purpose and leave.
And leave.
Okay.
Yes.
So after assuming or securing, you know, the position, you have a change of mind. That's to me immoral.
That's the problem. Yes.
You know, to me.
And that's not just a UDP problem.
So he have another political agenda. I think this can be discussed now within the party. But then the party will have, you know, a very difficult decision to make.
Yes.
We have agreed with our coalition partners that Barrow would not serve another term after this term.
Yes.
Okay? So how can we turn around and defend that same position by violating that? So the moral and integral aspects of things become...
So it wasn't that easy for the UDP, but if your party leader could, well, of course you have since said that is his personal opinion. If your party wouldn't like Barrow to serve another term, whether it's 5 years or 3 years, because that was the agreement, but your leader was comfortable to say that he should not even respect the 3 years, because the 3 years also was agreed among the coalition partners. Just as him not being allowed to run after his term is also agreed among them. So why do you pick and choose? Your leader, right? That's it. The time was choking.
Don't get me wrong. You know, maybe it's the words coming out.
Now what I'm saying is, you said it was not going to be morally possible for the UDP if Barrow desired to continue using the party to support him, because the agreement with all other group is that he shouldn't serve any after the end of his term, he shouldn't make himself available for election. Well, so if Barrow had wanted to use the UDP to go, you said it was not going to be even easy for the party to support him.
Because this was a sticking point. We are telling Barrow to honor this 3-year transition government. You know, after which maybe we might be able to secure funding to call for quick elections.
Yes. Actually, the whole government also have resigned. So
exactly. So therefore, you might not be able to stand for position in the first year election after your term.
Yes.
But then you can subsequently come back and you belong to UDP. We expect that after serving this purpose, you will always come back to UDP and you will be sellable. Because then we will be able to show a man of integrity, of substantial credibility. That this man is what we need to.
So it was not just as it's been said that it was Dabo who insisted that he will be the next president candidate of the party, which Barrow couldn't back.
No.
You agree with him that it was always going to be difficult for UDP to support Barrow for another term because of the agreement that they made among themselves that he should not serve the term immediately after his term.
This is not to support what he's saying, but I think he made it clear from the beginning that there were two positions. There was the leader's position and there was the party's position. And the leader's position does not always reflect the party's position. When Dabo came out and he made a declaration that he is going to defend Barrow in any court, against anybody who says he should stand down after 3 years. The Gambian people felt that was disingenuous because he wasn't even there when the negotiations were taking place. And the Gambian people rallied around Barrow regardless of their party affiliation because of the agenda they sold to the Gambian people. So it's not up to Lawyer Dabo to come out and say that's going to be changed, as it is not up to the coalition members now to come out and say that should be extended otherwise.
Just to add, if you don't mind, just to add to that, I'll tell you this, like I said, I might not come to this platform and air out everything that goes behind closed doors within the party. But when Dabo made that claim, I think it was very within that same period that Halifa Sallah also made a very substantial claim that these are the agreements we have agreed on. And because I think people were trying to connect Halifa's words and Dabo's words. And Dabo, Halifa said it very clear that what Dabo said is Dabo's prerogative.
Yes, at the time.
We all knew where he was when this agreement was signed. He was not there to sign on behalf of the party. So his words cannot be, has no merit.
He was not informed.
So even if Dabo had that ulterior motive, but the party I own, UDP, we have values. We have founding principles that guides us. We have to ask those proclamations as to how does that fit with the values we stand for. I am not in UDP just because of the numbers. I am in UDP because of the core values that formed this party from 1996. That's what I'm in love with, and that's why I joined UDP, and that's why I promote their agenda. So this is the issues but most of these issues are not on public
domain, and so
people understand what UDP actually stands for.
So the question I have though is borders on the Constitution. We know that the Parliament has, they have the powers to impeach the President if he is found guilty of certain misconduct. One of which is if he is found to be immoral in any ways. Now, if an official sells an agenda to the people and is being voted into office, and then he reneges on that using his executive powers against the people, for me, by any standard, that is immoral and that is a deceit. And would the National Assembly have powers to impeach him based on that?
National Assembly always has powers to impeach the president anytime, any day, but you have to have good ground for that. Okay. Understanding the particular sincere essence you're talking about here, which makes very good essence. But to me, we are going into a process of coming back from 22 years of dictatorship into a full-blown democracy. This change has just taken place in 2016, December, and it will take its course of ups and downs, and eventually, we will come out of it, to become a mature democracy. I believe, many people who are actually, active, in the decision making today, will be, seen to be ashamed come some time of the decisions they're making today. But this process has to be nurtured, but also, carefully guided. As to not to rush to conclusions on everything. Yes, Section 63 of the Constitution, Section 63 of the Constitution gives the President a mandate. But that same Section 63, Section 3, also gives the National Assembly to impeach the President if they deem it necessary. But in these particular cases, we are seeing very big sticking points that could call for such actions. But is it the right decision?
Is it the right decision?
And as responsible National Assembly members representing the various constituencies, we have a very difficult decision to take on that. But even if we should want to impeach the president, it's a process. If the motion is tabled and is supported by 2/3 of the members of the National Assembly, then the decision will be reached to the speaker to contact the IEC, to hold a referendum. So that will come back to you.
For people
to have a say, to the decision we made, whether it's actually, accepted or not. If it's not accepted, that's the end of it. If it's accepted, then the president will vacate his position. So it's a whole super, and even that vacation process has to be, supported by an act of parliament, which we haven't done yet. So I'm saying, it's easy to say, impeach the president, or even to recall your National Assembly member. But we have to look at these things, as a people in transition.
Whether there is even a need for it.
Exactly.
Perhaps there are better ways to solve
I have no ill will against Barrow as a person. It's the office I have a problem with.
Okay.
You know, that's why.
It's never about Barrow as a person.
Exactly. If the president is conducting himself in a certain way, it's my duty, to actually, hold him accountable to everything he's doing.
We all have.
And unfortunately for him, he's doing so many, bad decisions.
So it is not just a UDP problem when it comes to Barrow not honoring or not committing himself to honor the moral principles that they put down, that the whole transition should follow. Because even Doi has that problem. I mean, Doi is always angry when you said, when the constitution said it's only 5 years or nothing else. Doi will always come to say, look, that is misleading, because the same constitution have created provisions for the president to go. So you cannot just say that this is just constitution, everything else is illegal.
So people think it's just as simplistic as 3 years, 5 years. We can afford to wait for another 2 years, obviously we can.
Yes.
But when you have a leader who came into power in such a manner, given our historical experiences, few years before he comes into power, and you have him manifesting attitudes and behaviors that is reminiscent of the past, that is a cause for alarm.
Exactly. I think that's where it's taken.
Exactly.
But Mustafa,
and not only that, before you go to Mustafa, people can anytime, for whatever reasons best known to them, can call for the president to step down.
Yes.
That is the power.
That is a
that's the people.
right,
Yes. There's no such thing like people cannot call.
No, if you.
Now, what do you make of this? I mean, Mustafa, of course, will be committed. You know, of course, there are a lot of theories as to while these 3 years just now are about to institute a coup d'etat, because by telling the president to step down before 5 years, you are in a coup d'etat. It's a very quite misinformed opinion, isn't it?
I think it's just a show of desperation, both on the part of Barrow government and the people he's using, especially the military and those serving in the
We will come to that, because we've seen that the military
have
they said this uniform police or whatever, the security have way into the matter, and they've come on the strong criticisms as to why they should take that position in there. But let's cross over to Mustafa. Mustafa, you had where we were. It's not just the UDP who had troubles with Barrow clinging onto power, despite the fact that he had the opportunity to morally respect the agreement and go, because even Doi always argued that yes, it's Barrow's choice. If he steps down, he's respected for it. But if he chooses to go, he had remedied on a promise. Not so.
So Barrow is serving the Gambian people. So whatever Barrow does should be subjected to the scrutiny of the Gambian people. So this is why this is no longer, it's not even a partition issue. Nima was talking there about the issue of accountability. It is the responsibility of any Gambian citizen to hold our leaders accountable. So you've got to, if votes are very significant in leadership, we vote for people because they come to us and promise us. That's the reason why we vote for them. And we vote for them because we expect them to keep their words. That's the whole essence of democracy. You give someone a mandate that you think the person is going to deliver. Now, if you come to me and seek a particular mandate and then go to a corner and say, I'm not going to honor it anyway, because the law says I can't. Why would you come to me with that mandate that the law says you cannot honor? So this is where the whole debate is. It's not I think to call it I heard you talking about it being a coup. That's ignorance. I mean, the issue of people rising up to say this is what we have promised and that's what must be done, it's legitimate. That's what people do all over the world. So protest for Barrow to keep his words is legitimate. And that is the reason why, instead of them issuing threats, they should be focusing on holding a dialogue with people who are calling for the resignation of the president. Because it's not people asking the president to do what he didn't say he will do. People are merely asking the president to do what he has promised he will do. How can that be a crime? So to also tell the people
recent public statement that they are not asking for anything out of the ordinary. They are just putting the people accountable to what they said exactly.
What you think you will do? So this is the reason why I think we need
another topic, which of course again deals with National Assembly. That's the remnant of the Commission of Inquiry report and the the white paper the government issued. There are calls, suggestions that it should go to Parliament too. We want to know whether indeed is the government really entitled or obligated to take it to Parliament, and what is your take yourself as a National Assembly member on the government's white paper on the position? For example, there have been a lot of criticisms, even from your party leader and from the APRC recently and the general public, that they saw what they call selective justice. People who have been just asked, people who just been recommended to be sacked are kept. And the argument the government put forward was that perhaps, according to them, they don't see anything problematic with them, when actually people saw that, in fact, some of the people that they are trying to keep may have even done something that's more serious than those who've been banned. In fact, should it even go to National Assembly?
Thank you. Again, I try to make sure that I argue my points based on law and facts.
Yes.
The point you are just asking here is very important, in the sense that there is a saying that when you allow unlawful acts to go unpunished, you create a nation of men rather than a nation of law. And that provision is not only meant for the government, but also for the citizens.
Okay.
To allow, if they see any unlawful acts by their elected officials, they should not allow it, because otherwise they would create an environment
exactly
where the law will actually not prevail. So in that case, I wanted to invoke a certain particular section, but I don't think that's relevant now.
Yeah.
What I want to say in this season is what the stake the National Assembly has in this.
Yes.
Is the president's prerogative, entirely to launch a commission.
Okay.
And that's what President Barrow did.
Yeah.
In launching the commission in the financial activities of the former president, his family members and close associates. And is the president's prerogative of how the recommendations of that commission will be handled. But however that white paper is developed and implemented, people have a say in it.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be National Assembly. Our only connection to this is that after he inaugurated or instituted that commission, he has to come to the National Assembly to make sure that we allocate remunerations for these council members. And that's where we come into play as far as being a stakeholder in it.
Yeah.
But the decision making of it is entirely his. But it goes to show you how why people are even not happy with Barrow being in power.
Yeah.
He's actually how would you call it? Nurturing a culture of biasness and unfair play. In the way he delivers the administration of the state. Every citizen, no matter how bad or what bad you did, or how gross a misconduct you have actually performed during the time of your office, you are you are actually
assumed to be innocent and to prove
no. You are
entitled to a living,
entitled to not a fair
treatment,
and justice.
No matter how you notoriate
justice delivery. So if the commission's recommendations for Barrow not on their findings days, I think it's only fair for Barrow to not just say here, these are the recommendations and I'm supporting it 100%.
Yeah.
Or no, some recommendations are very strong, so I will reduce them to be an appropriate measure, and then implement it that way. Okay. But I will not leave one man and punish the others.
And punish the others
in his position.
I see.
So that will become selective justice. And that will actually ignite more outcry and dissatisfaction of how you're handling justice delivery. So this is the situation we are in.
Okay.
I find some of the recommendations to be totally too strong.
Too harsh yourself.
Because you don't have to look at the commission's recommendation in its own entity isolation. Let's look at the other processes that are going on. You just released some junglers who have confessed to killing over 48 people.
Exactly.
About 48 people.
Yeah.
And then, but yet you want to punish this man, because we are trying to as well, come from the past and reconcile. So some of
So all these transitional justice things should all be put
into perspective when you are actually delivering on the things, because otherwise, leaving a jungler who has killed so many innocent Gambians, but then actually ban somebody for taking any
so there couldn't be anything worse than killing.
Exactly, Whilst in the same, within the same confinement of that recommendations, you deliberately subject some other people to full pardon.
Full pardon, complete full
I
pardon.
said a similar thing. I made a similar case about the protocol officers, given that consideration needs to be given not just to the conduct that happened, but also to certain, for example, institutional failures that might have been responsible for what had happened. And I think what you mentioned is it's a case in point. I think it's important that we look at things from a holistic point of view. And if Barrow is cherry picking and punishing others for the same crimes that requires the same sort of treatment, it leaves room for justification of certain behavior that might happen in the past, as we have seen with the APRC press conference that happened. And that's something that you need to be careful about. Because otherwise there's no ground, or there's nothing to justify your actions based on the conduct that could be used as a reference point.
Because I want to come in here, because I asked the Minister of Justice when he came for questions and answers. Sometime just after the report, the Janneh Commission report was tabled before the President, was presented to the President, about why did they, even before coming up with a white paper, why have they there and then decided not to seize every single asset and bank accounts of Yaya Jammeh? But then at the same time, let others continue with their lives. Rule for one is rule for all. I don't have to like Yaya Jammeh to give him fair trial. And everybody is presuming, in this particular, that's what everybody is, every person who is charged with a criminal offense, shall be presumed innocent until he or she is proven or to be pleaded guilty. So the way I see it is this: that you cannot single-handedly cherry pick who to punish.
And who not?
To the highest extent possible. And then not punish the others.
So even you yourself,
but the minister did make me promise that that's not going to happen. They're not cherry picking, and it's not a piecemeal approach, but they will make sure that the full extent of the law is implemented in dealing with the Janneh Commission report recommendations.
But do you expect any change of heart by the government from what they said?
That's why we are talking about this white paper.
But the follow-up question I have to what he asked you earlier on about whether or not the report should have passed through the National Assembly is this: when the Janneh Commission was being set up, it has been taken to
all
the
National
Assembly.
All the money has been voted by you.
An act was being developed to give it legitimacy. Now, if the recommendations are out and the President makes endorses those recommendations one way or otherwise, for me that's just an executive order. What happens if he's no longer in power? Would it have the same power as if it was a legal sanctioning?
Yes. Thank you very much. Just before I walk into this interview, I was just on the same issue, trying to find out where we stand as a National Assembly on this particular issue. Just to make sure some clarifications. And I had to cut the phone off to attend because I was running late. But yes, I think we have a say in this, because somebody did mention to me that when the President decided not to publish the full report and the white paper, that same day they have presented to the National Assembly both documents for our consideration. So I want to believe that at some point we will have our fair share of the debate.
Going through it.
Yes, in it. Regardless whether that happens or not, we still have a stake in this. We are an equal arm of the government, and we shouldn't stand by and see injustice.
What influence can you have on the decision already made by the government, the white paper?
We are the National Assembly. Somebody's. I was watching a Nigerian comedy. I don't know whether it's a comedian or whether it's actually a National Assembly member. We are the lawmakers. No, I mean we can pass in a resolution to stop all these implementation of this
or at least to see it
that will become law.
That will become law.
Yeah. So basically, we have we have a say in this.
Another challenge though we have is many things have happened in the past. People have been killed by anti-crime unit.
Allegedly.
Okay. People have been arrested and they were accused. Okay, allegedly. I think that's a safe word to use. Many a times the government will come and say they are going to lodge an investigation, and then few weeks later, when people stop talking about it, we never hear anything about it. The passport saga is one of those. Does the National Assembly have any powers to compel the executive branch to move ahead with investigations and to compel them to release the reports afterwards?
Yes. We have every power in Section 109 of the Constitution, to summon investigations, to summon presentations of persons or documents on any national issue, and especially that is of significance. I am a member of the Standing Committee on Defense and Security, and I have a lot of interactions now with the people in the security and defense sector. And this is one thing we are looking forward to, to be presented before us, or we will make that request, for them to present their findings. On all
ordinary citizens like myself or anybody present such a motion to the National Assembly and be considered?
No, nobody other than a National Assembly member can move a motion. And but we have concerned civil society organizations who are also very much keen into looking into these things to ensure accountability and transparency, and I'm sure we'll get somewhere with it.
We're still in the National Assembly. The last few days, you have been engaged in some sort of a standoff with the executive. I mean, you insisted that the president, vice president, or vice president should come to the assembly, or you will not continue debating his State of the Nation address. Why so much fuss this time?
It's not this time. It's like I said earlier. We are going through a transition of growing up and maturing into a full democracy. And some things we have done in the past, we'll start doing happen, and other things will come up along the way. Section 77 clearly states that the president shall at least once a year come and address the nation on state affairs of the state to the National Assembly. That same section, just the next line down, gives provision for the National Assembly member may require the president to come and witness a session on issues of importance. So this is the provision we provoked or invoked. To call the president to come before us, and we have queries and qualifications that we need on his speech to clarify.
And he wouldn't come.
He wouldn't come, which he doesn't have to. Provided that because Section 77(3) says if the president cannot come, the only other illegitimate person or legal person that can come will be the vice president. That in itself is a provision only in case the president is so busy with something else, no, is out of the country.
What did he say?
Why?
He didn't say anything.
I didn't speak to the president. I don't know what he said.
But he still didn't come.
Yeah.
Look. What did the speaker say? He said he was busy.
It's common knowledge. Yeah. We all know the root causes or the reason.
Yeah.
Or,
why he didn't come. Why do you think he didn't come?
Well, I think the president is dodging responsibility.
Dodging responsibility.
Yes. People will call him incompetent. People will call him names and whatever. No.
Yes.
I only think that the president is not capable to defend his speech.
I see.
Yes. If you read the speech, I don't know whether you did.
I read a lot of it.
It's a lot of misinformation in there. They are claiming from the financial sector to the agricultural sector they are claiming so many achievements, which if you go on the ground,
you will see it there.
I will give you an example. Yes. You're a Gambian. I'm sure you come across so many Gambians who actually will tell you their feel of the day.
Absolutely.
With all this. High academic indicators of achievements in the economy growing here, growing there.
Exactly.
How is this?
Yeah, they are feeling that. Yes, there are a lot of things like that. Exactly. And then of course there was this. At least two ministers were talking about, government were talking about how difficult it is for them to attract funding for the NDP and stuff like that.
Well, as far as the NDP is concerned, the only mention Barrow did mention about the NDP, is just about a two-liner. That is like, the private sector is expected to play a significant role in financing the NDP. That's in fact it's sort of like a cunning way of actually the private sector is only doing 29% of financing the NDP. The huge bulk of the private sector is doing 29%. The government itself should do 9%, and the 62% should come from ODAs.
Yes.
That's overseas development assistance.
Yeah.
Why didn't he mention to us at that particular point? It's a good opportunity to tell us the status of the assessment report.
So you guys are all there, fired up, waiting for him. So you believe because he cannot defend it, he decided to stay away.
It's in the spirit of democracy.
Yeah, I know.
You cannot put yourself up there to be the president of the country, and
you're done from responsibility.
From actually telling people.
But do you think the vice president will be any better? She was, for all I know, he was in America. And I don't know. How much did he know?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know whether in fact I'm going to participate in the debate.
Why?
Because what's the essence?
Well, you owe it to the Gambian people.
I mean, the vice president might come and defend the president all she likes, or you might ask genuine questions and she'll say, I'll come back to you because
I will come back to you because I have not.
Why waste your time?
Yeah, but
why ask questions that you'll not get the answers for?
The people,
why aren't you happy?
See that happen though. So if you do not go ahead with the debate, we're not going to see that happening. The people need to see that whether that's going to happen or not, whether she's going to come and give excuses where they need to give answers. So if you do not go ahead with the debate, then we're going to lose that opportunity.
I'm not saying we're not going to go ahead with the debate. But some of the questions I have, I think is only the president who can answer that.
Who claimed,
or who would want to answer, who would have no choice but to answer it. But the vice president have every choice. I think even there's somewhere in the law where the president could say, no, I'm not going to answer your question, or he doesn't have to answer the question. But at least that would show the people what kind of president they have. If this is the kind of president they want to actually move.
I think we already know what kind of president.
So according to you, he probably is not confident or not capable of defending some of the things, and you feel that this speech is so. This speech just touched the surface.
I didn't go to Parliament that day, for some reasons, on the State of the Nation address. After read and watched the speech he gave, I think the president was just reading from what he was given. But was not taking ownership of what he's actually because he doesn't understand most of what he was saying. So if you are the chief servant of a country like the president, you run the country. All the ministers are your appointees.
Absolutely.
Who should run sectors for you. So they shouldn't tell you what you should. You should tell them what you want to do, and they come back to you with no feedback.
So it's so
that kind of person is in tune with what is happening in
all the sectors.
In Baribu Sale Kenya, or in Sare Sovi in my constituency, or in Katong. He should know what is happening as far as agriculture is concerned, as far as health service delivery is concerned, as far as education is concerned. So all the information they will bring him, he'll have to look at it and weigh whether this is actually good or bad. So, but if a president who is just sitting there and I'm the president, but not concerned about, because not worried about anything that is going on in the country, just taking what they give you to say, oh, I mean, foreign affairs, we're doing very well. But some of your missions, have not, for the past, since they incepted, or since you came into office, brought one dime of, how would you call it, progress to country.
Projects.
Why maintain them?
Absolutely.
So you don't just sit there and say, oh, what you're giving me, this is a good read. Let me go and read it, and then finish with it. You should take responsibility.
You have to take responsibility and not just to read, but to know what is there. Talk
to people.
Tell them. It's just a simple case of capacity, lack of capacity, or not confident.
In my position, it will be difficult for me to say yes to that, because then people might think, I am being subject.
Because you are in the opposition to him. But anyway, he has not come, and the vice president may come, of course will have to come. But will she be any better in understanding and explaining the content? That's where the problem is.
I hope so, but I am not in the least impressed about asking him anything. And if I do, like he said, if she is my constituent, who asked me to go there and represent me, I have no choice but to ask. But sometimes I feel like asking questions in Parliament, sometimes it's just for the sake of the cameras.
It's not important.
It's not important.
Okay.
But it's going to be important for accountability processes, though, whether they answer questions.
Mustafa, finally we're going to you to have your say on this standoff between the National Assembly and the Executive on why the President should come, or his Vice President, and would they do any job? The Honorable Sanna Jawara said he didn't think, in fact, the President could defend, or whether he even had an understanding of what has been prepared for him to read on that day. What's your take on that?
So actually, we've discussed this quite a lot the last session of the brunch, and my position was that not only did the president not understand what he was reading, the whole point of State of the Union address, State of the Nation address, is to give lawmakers an update of the current state of affairs in the country, the problems we are encountering, offer a solution to those problems, tell them what your policies are, and tell them what the bills that you intend to bring in the National Assembly will be. And it's basically that. That's what State of the Nation address is. It's self-explanatory, the state of our nation. So that is what the State of the Nation speech should be. It should not be a sort of an boring speech of projects whose implementation were already covered by the standard. And I attended it, or the media attended it. I mean, this is the point. So, in my opinion, the entire nature of the State of the Nation's address should change. That is one thing, but also the most important thing is that the State of the Nation address is supposed to be about the policy agenda of the president, what he has done and what he's coming to do. So if you had made that to National Assembly members and they are going to give you a feedback, this is not a monologue, it's a conversation with the people of the country. That is why you need to be seated with them. So this is the problem. President should not even sit there for him to be told to come back to the National Assembly. He should have considered that his responsibility to come to the National Assembly as someone who takes interest in the progress of the nation, to listen to the lawmakers what they're going to say about the state. He can claim to know all. So if people are going to make an opinion a statement about a speech you've made, you should be there. It's common sense.
Basically, his refusal to come expose him to criticism himself, either not being caring or not even have the capacity to tackle the issues that are contained in the document.
Can you take that up again?
Really, actually now means that he's now been freely accused or criticized of not being on top of the issues raised in the document. Not so.
So the reality of the issue is that yes, he is either that he is not on top of the issues or he is just ignoring basic procedures. Either of these two, one has to be the truth.
Mustafa, well, I think I will leave you now to enjoy the remainder of your program in Vienna, in Vienna, all the way in Austria. Congratulations, therefore, stepping your foot in the European soil for the first time. Right. We will have to wrap up with one issue. Mr. Honorable Sanna Jawara, if we are to say now, just briefly, how this new National Assembly have fared in terms of deliberations, in terms of legislature sessions, how would you describe your National Assembly compared to the past? One led by Fabakary Tombong Jatta. I'm not opening the opportunity for you to hit at the APRC, but what do you say? You said, of course, our democracy will have to mature. But how mature is the Parliament itself now?
Okay, let's put it this way. Here we have, as a National Assembly, an opportunity to be the best legislature ever in the history of the Gambia, or to be the biggest failure, in the history of the Gambia. Fabakary Tombong Jatta's legislature was a different kind of situation. We all understand during Yahya Jammeh's time, it was a different ball game. Maybe people like myself will not even have dared ask certain questions. We all understand that.
Exactly.
But in December 2016, Gambians took ownership of changing that course, and now give us a platform where we can speak freely. That's not the making of the government. That's the making of the Gambian people. And we should take advantage of that and claim what is right. Now, you come to the National Assembly and you look around, you ask yourself, sometimes it's very, I would say, you feel this is not where I want to be, because this is not what I represent. A National Assembly should not be political. Well, it can be. Like you go to much of the mature democracies, it's political.
Yes.
But it's a different kind of political. They argue and debate and push and pull on issues that they think their political party will represent the best interests of the people. Not to support the prime minister or the president or anything like that. In our case, is either the president or the people. And some National Assembly members are divided between whatever the president says, good or bad, that's what I would promote. And whatever the people say, good or bad, that's what I promote. Some people will say. So we are here now, and the National Assembly is going through a lot of constraints in terms of under resourcing, in terms of the culture from where we are trying to break off from. People don't understand. There's a lot of civic education that needs doing about the responsibilities of a National Assembly member. But also there's a lot of red tapes that a National Assembly member has to go through to get certain things done. The National Assembly, as a whole, makes laws and make certain decisions for the state. But some of its functions are on the committee levels. We have committees,
such as yours, defense
and security, and health, women, children, humanitarian affairs and refugees. Then you have tourism, arts and culture. So these committees, I'm in all these three. These committees will be given the mandate to function oversight, to conduct oversight over these sectors. So, but here we are as a National Assembly committee. We want to go to Fatoto to see the problems they are having with the border towns of Senegal who comes into town and then steal their cattle or motorbikes or whatever and go across the border. We want to go to Fatoto. We have no money.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you are the one who keep all the monies and allocate them. You don't have one.
We allocate ourselves now $136 million to do our functions. But every time we ask for this money, there's no money.
And you give money to other places.
That's what I'm saying. So
how is that possible?
It's a budget allocation.
Okay.
So we know we have this much to exhaust. But unfortunately, sometimes I think last year we hardly exhaust 50%.
Where is the money gone though? They took it to another sector.
Because the budget execution is a different ball game. The Ministry of Finances at his discretion to say to give you the money or not if the money is not there.
But if it's not there, where is it gone? It's been diverted or something.
In the current situation, if let's say, for example, the president wants to go to the UN General Assembly,
that will be money.
They will give him 29 million to go to there. But the National Assembly Committee wants to go and conduct its functions. The money is not there. And how would they do this? Sometimes the money doesn't have to be there. GRA might collect as much as they can. Other non-tax revenues might come as they can, but they're not enough. But how you appropriate these funds, towards productive sectors, against just spenders,
that's
is what makes a good government.
I see.
You understand? But I'm sure the way we can, and I have no reasons to claim this. Even if there's no money, but the president wants to go and do something, they will take a treasury bill.
Money will readily be available.
They will go to the central bank
and get
the money. And the central bank at any time have an MOU with the Ministry of Finance. Whatever money they ask, they'll give them.
So they could have the same thing. They could have given the Parliament to do a work.
Exactly, but they will not do this because most times in dictatorships, governments only want a passive parliament. Where they just push papers
and they get it done in
any way or form.
But your Parliament is refusing to be a rubber stamp.
Well, our Parliament is refusing, but we're having internal constraints. Sometimes the administrative functions within the Parliament itself. This is why now we are claiming our full autonomy. And I think.
And what would that mean now?
It means full independence.
You have your money in your own hands.
Yeah, the judiciary has.
Oh, yeah, the judiciary has.
And the executive has.
Yes.
So why not the Parliament?
Why not the Parliament? Yeah, that's
it shouldn't be, in fact, a debate.
That's what it will be a debate.
To make sure there is effective accountability and transparency.
Well, I think you can do that yourself, isn't it?
We will do that.
Acting.
I am appealing to my colleagues, to support
that
a bill
because that will give you more.
Come very soon. But in fact, the executive has promised that they will do it.
They will do it.
But even if they don't do it, we have a bill that was formulated since 2012.
Wow.
We just have to brush it off and change some provisions.
So you have
and make sure that is happening. Otherwise, I doubt whether we will even support the budget.
I see. The next budget, you have every right.
Because we have every right,
Yes, you have every right.
Another thing I might want to take this opportunity is there's a lot of this atmosphere of blaming National Assembly members for claiming so much privilege.
Like for example, we know for a fact that parliamentarians in Kenya are the best paid around the world.
Exactly. We don't have to go to that level. That to me is too much.
But I'm trying to paint the picture. Why the people who vote people and allocate money for them are themselves underpaid?
Well, you have to look at things from context, from Gambian context. Do we have that kind of money to pay ourselves that kind of money?
But at least we should be able to afford a decent salary
Obviously,
for a member of Parliament.
Listen, in 2017, when we were revising the budget, we want to allocate ourselves now $84 million to buy our own cars.
Okay.
Yeah, because you cannot have a effective National Assembly member without any mobility.
But you got these cars from the undisclosed donors.
That's the thing, because at the time we were allocated these cars, and this is something I think that has is circulating within the social political discourse that that is in itself immoral. To a degree, I accept. But you have to ask yourself, why did you take this car? One, I had 2 cars myself personally.
Yes, of course.
Before I became Parliament. But I crushed them in my campaign.
Yes.
Now I am stuck where I have to go and borrow my friends their cars. If anytime I want to go and see my people, which is about 400 kilometers from here, or 300 kilometers from here. Now, here we have a president who we hope that he will not go into taking gifts from anybody for whatever scrupulous reasons. That he said, no, you don't have to allocate yourself because we have no money. You don't have to allocate yourself $84 million. But a friend of the country, because of goodwill, the country is exposed to, wants to donate the National Assembly cars. Then the question comes, who is this guy?
Who is the donor?
Who is the donor? And what is in there for him? But this was a time when the Gambia was at a posture of having a monumental reverse of goodwill.
There was an avalanche of goodwill.
Exactly.
Everybody thought it was a nation.
I thought it was in good faith. I took it in good faith. No, I thought it was a good call, and I thought there's something.
For example, nothing would have been wrong with it if it was donated by a nation. Like for example, China.
Even an individual. Dangote could have not donated us these vehicles, and they claim it, and it doesn't have to be anonymous. And we would happily take it.
But you were told at the time that it was from an
anonymous source.
No. That's
what happened at the beginning.
No. What happened is that the donor was not even being mentioned. But
you didn't ask where it come from then? Well, you didn't ask.
No, some members
those people did not take it because they don't know.
Yes, Khalifa and his party members did ask, and we hope we were expecting there will be an answer for that.
There's still no answer.
And I would have supported when that question was put before the minister, that yes, we want to know who this donor is.
But wouldn't it have been better you just ignore the car and go back to your car as though people did?
Right, here is the question. What is done is done. The cars are parked. I have a problem. I cannot get to my constituency. So I ask myself, if I don't use it, they might give it to somebody else who doesn't even need it, but will use the government resources to just go and exploit it. I will use it and then ask the question.
By the way, where are the remnant of the car, the endorsement for doing? Are they still standing there?
No, they're all given out.
They're out.
They're all given out.
Otherwise, I would have said, Nima will go there and take one.
I think the thing that what we expected from the National Assembly is not to refuse to accept the cars. Because we know that they came to fill a gap. There is already a gap that exists and it was creating problems for you. So you can say it was a difficult choice. But then we expected a credible oversight body like the National Assembly to go back to challenge the president about the source.
So where did you get the record?
Yes, that's why in my response I said I agree to a degree that there's a question of credibility. And I'm not defending myself from criticism.
Okay, I understand.
I'm not perfect. I'm not a saint. Sometimes I make bad judgments, but then I learn from them. Do you expect that next time there's something like this? I will. I won't.
Maybe like you said, it was all part of the majority of the time.
It was done in good faith.
It was done in good faith.
I didn't see anything about it at the time. But learning from it.
But later when you learned it was from a donor that the president is not keen to disclose.
Exactly.
And that's why the problem.
And for good reasons too. Why he doesn't want to know? Because he doesn't want to disclose because it's just unfortunate.
It's just unfortunate. Well, but overall, a good parliament, it looks like, from what we are seeing.
We are getting there, so that's why when we invoke this section to call for the president, is a demonstration of asserting our authority to make sure that every government official, regardless of your portfolio, you are accountable to the people.
Good.
And when we do this, we don't do it in our own personal selves. We do it in the name of the people who put us there. We should all be accountable. It's only in the Gambia that this is becoming an orthodox, kind of atmosphere. But in South Africa and everywhere else, presidents go before Parliament and have to answer.
Everywhere, every time.
So it's not.
So it's within your right to demand that he comes there. Well, thank you very much, Honorable Sanna Jawara, the National Assembly member for Upper Fuladu West, for sharing your time with us, and Nima Kamara of the University of the Gambia. Our friend over there, Mustafa Dabo in Vienna, Austria. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us. And on behalf of everybody, our technicians in the background, we wish you have a great week. This is Lavin Jam until we come back next week. Have a nice weekend.